Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Let's see. I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna be working on the editor a little bit. Let's see. I don't know if y'all caught the I posted about the editor recently, and yeah, didn't get too many likes though. So I guess at the end of the day, what ends up being popular with the community is not always popular uh, as a tweet. I guess it is just UI at the end of the day. I'm doing all right, Razor. How have you been? Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying right now. I'm working on a little notification system, but unfortunately, the code I use seems like it might have some issues. The So I'm trying to figure out exactly how to make it work. Yeah, because this button that's not supposed to show up, but it does, keeps showing up, and that's annoying me. So on click is supposed to equal nil. But I'm guessing what's happening is that is happening here. Hey there, Zayden. How have you been? So let's just see if this fixes the issue. Nope. It's still getting angry at me. Hmm. Let me see if I can get the exit button to disappear. That might help me narrow it down. I cannot. All right. So whatever technique I'm using for this just does not work. It's frustrating. So let's see. So how about instead? Um, so on close click state should be nil. Let me just double check to make sure that I'm not making that mistake on my end. No, I'm literally passing it a thing. Oh, but wait, I might be opening the wrong one, right? Because I have a few of these lying around. Hey there, the death. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, the I'm waiting for a few more people to show up before I start going full, showing what I've been up to. But for now, I'm just trying to debug this silly bit of code. I'm trying to get a notification system working, and right now it's looking all right. Problem is, I don't want this button to appear, and it's not supposed to appear, but it is. And so I'm just trying to figure out exactly you know, what's causing it. But anyway, the in terms of well, in fairness, so superhero life, it doesn't exactly have the most active development cycle, so I don't really blame anyone for not knowing about this. I don't really publicize it too much either. It's not because I don't mind, I don't mind having people show up. It's more just like I I just want to, make a good game, and I think that since it's been so long since I've actually released something, the least I can do is be very transparent with the process. So yeah, that's the current goal. Okay, so the text is transparent. So how I'm going crazy because in theory, this literally should be returning nil. Okay, okay, let's try this. Well, that's very confusing. Am I like looking at the wrong piece of code or something? Because I literally just set this to false. So if this is when literally set to false is still coming up as visible, that's an even weirder error than I could have possibly imagined. Oh no, wait, I think I know what's going on. I think I know what's going on. It's because even though I might be uh, even though I might actually be working from a uh, from here, what's actually happening is this one. Yeah, but for the most part, things have been going pretty smoothly. Um, Obviously, the game's not necessarily done yet, but I think we're getting close. All right, so let's try this one. Hey, there we go. Yay! All right, so now I know what the issue is, and I can hopefully, um, hopefully fix it. Yeah, so but for now we can just have that. All right, so let's check out the editor. Woo! So yeah, we've made a few improvements, since y'all last saw it. Um, Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think that it's coming along very nicely. It's all come together. Aha. Yeah, I'm really happy with the current hair system. Um, right now, like in the past, of course, recoloring hair assets was actually kind of a headache. Also, yay, that worked. Okay. Pla- Yeah, so it gives me little warnings, but unfortunately, this doesn't really recolor. Like, let's say you wanted to make this person blonde. Well, with this new texture editing feature, I need to figure out what's going on with the sizing here because every time I open this menu, the sizing gets worse, and I don't know why. Um, but anyway, the so if I take this all the way down and I move this all the way to the side and start decreasing the alpha a little bit, I should hopefully be able to have, complete control, which quite nice. And you can see it still keeps some of the original texture so that, yeah, yeah, I can change the eye color and yeah, that's just been a very nice thing. And so now also there's, you know, the various different outfits that we can have for this. Yeah. But so we're going to be able to hopefully layer some of these. Yeah, so the current color texture system is very minimal. Um, in the past, I've done more advanced stuff. The main goal with it right now is I just want to get something out there so that I can have like a basic uh, so that I can have just a basic template to build off of. Yeah, no, but the color palettes, being able to add hex codes, all that stuff. Yeah, so definitely look forward to seeing more improvements in that direction. But no, I mean, like for the most part, I think that things are moving along pretty well. Uh, yeah, the you can layer hair too. Like say you wanted to have a mustache plus this beard, you can do that. So that's pretty nice. Let's have this match them in color. Yeah, so we're gonna build this up a ton, but yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, just mostly polishing it. Um, yeah, I'm probably gonna add like a color picker or something to like make it so you can just select the other hair or whatever and select from that. Yeah, the let's see. Of course, the entire thing works with in portrait mode as well, which is nice. Yeah, I feel like there's still a little bit of or I'm almost getting a match, but yeah, this is why I need a color picker so that I don't have to just manually. Yeah, no, no, yeah, no, we're making sure that yeah, you know, I'm excited to have eye color changing in there. I forgot that that wasn't in Superhero Life 2 because it looked really good in Superhero Life 3, so being able to have it in 2, you know, makes sense. But yeah, like that's the current system. I Oh, there's a ton of accessories actually. Let me actually move this to check out the desktop layout. The desktop layout is so much nicer in a bunch of ways. Um, like you can see that it really does a good job sort of displaying everything. Yeah, you even get a second row for the menu. Um, I'm gonna have it so that you can toggle whether the hair shows with the hat because a lot of the time, and I'm gonna have it be default, like hiding the hair sometimes, but you know, a lot of the times what you end up wanting is, and once we have editable meshes, it's a lot more possible to sort of have like the hat cut things off at the top. So I think that that'd be pretty fun. Like sort of almost to have like a slider for editing the mesh to like lower the hair to not pass all that stuff. So I'm pretty excited for that. So we'll get to work on making all of these, you know, work nicely. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, there's 10 pages currently. Um, yeah, it's pretty nice. Let's see, where's the actual mask stuff? And I feel like this also shows just how efficient my workflow's gotten since I first started doing superhero life stuff. Because the first time I made this character editor, it took me literally a month, and now I've gotten this far in what I feel is also higher quality in like what less than a week. Things really turned around really quickly. So yeah, let's see, these different areas, we're going to be building out these later this week. But oh yeah, the questions in terms of actually importing stuff. So that's actually very easy now, because part of the monetization of the game is I'm going to make it so that if you want, you can buy the UGC items attached to it. Like if someone like, if you really like this hairstyle or something, you could actually purchase it for yourself on Roblox, which no, this isn't something which necessarily everyone will want to do. I'm probably not going to do it. But for people who do want to buy that stuff, I get a little commission from it, and that means less pressure on me to monetize. And also, it encourages other UGC devs to allow me to use their assets into the game. So, like, like with the hair, it would take me a long time to make 7 pages worth of hair to use in the game, and so to be able to encourage people to allow their hair used in it, I think that's quite nice. So that's one thing I'm excited for. Let's see, where is the? Let's just go. Okay, I-14. Yeah, the amount of little details I had to put in to get all these styles compatible um, has been an adventure. So if I recall correctly, also just before I forget, here is the current setup for adding a new item. So if you want to add an outfit hat, literally all I have to do is just copy this in. I'll describe what type of item it is, the name and creator, the priority. The priority, that's actually how many favorites it has. So I have it sorted so that the items with the most favorites go first. Just to make it easier to parse. Also, these tokens are used for one day when I hook up the search bar, because you can see there are a lot of assets here, so having a search bar is very helpful. Um, but yeah, the in terms of the actual, and then it'll say like what part of the menu, like it's in the outfit hats in the item browser when it's in this tab, and so this will help guide all these. And as you can see, there are a lot of assets. It's thankfully I have various ways to automate it, but for the most part, the automation is pretty much done, and so I can, you know, we have the items in, we have hundreds of hats, hundreds of hairs, and that's great. And as I get more deals with UGC people, we can hopefully have some more cool stuff. Realistically, I've probably overextended to an extent. I'm probably going to deprecate or remove some of these over time, like, just either because the texture isn't good or there's a better alternative. Um, and so in those cases, we'll make sure to modify that. But for now, I think that things are pretty good. Um, is the dream hair going to be added in the revamp? I believe it is. The only qualifications for a hair appearing in this is it has to be made by Roblox because UGC deals. I have to work those out manually, and also it's not multicolor. It doesn't have decorations in it because I wanted to make it so you could very easily recolor things, and so that removed a lot of items. Like if it has like a hair bow in it, that's a headache to actually work around because if you want to recolor the hair and not the bow, that's a nightmare. And so I'd much rather just support, other stuff. But in terms of this item, so we have, where is it? Where did I put that? Okay, so in the hair area, if I search up dream, there's aqua dream hair, which is probably the dream hair. Yeah, y'all can check that out. Um, but yeah, so so we should have the dream hair in there. Oh yeah, thankfully Slend, welcome back. The actual the tokens are something that I process manually. Sorry, that process is something I process automatically, not manually. What it does is it basically goes through and using the name of it, the creator of it, and the description, it just goes through and breaks it up into unique tokens. And that should, ideally um, allow for a quick basic search. So that makes things run pretty fast. Yeah. Basically, as a rule of thumb, just if an item exists on Roblox, I assume they're okay with me using it. Um, Unless it's a UGC dev, in which case I want to ask first. Um, let's see. Yeah, so the entire workflow, so priority is actually just the favorites. So if this item was favored a bunch more times, I'm going to assume people want to see it first. Like you'll see, for example, um, there are, oh, also though, if you have something applied to your character, that always gets put to the top of the list so that you can find it later. Um, but yeah, like apparently the most favorited hair on Roblox is the Belle of Belfast long hair, and then a beautiful hair for beautiful guys or whatever it was. And yeah, so that makes it. Then of course bacon hair as well. That gets a high marks. Um, but yeah, so that's the current strategy with this. Um, if you try to map change on current superhero life, uh, I would not. Technically, to my understanding, the current superhero life map change, you'd probably break a lot of the teleports and a lot of the character customization areas, but for the most part, the Superhero Life 2 breaking breaks whenever I change anything, so that's why I'm remaking it. That code has not aged well. That code's in second grade right now. It's very old. Let's see. But yeah, so it looks like I think I missed a few questions about yeah, so Red Rage is a mutant like Marvel? That's a tough one. That's a tough one because on the one hand, I think in a version of the canon that I created at one point, the all the superheroes did come as like a result of like nuclear testing, so like sort of like a mutation thing. Um, I don't know if I want to engage with them as mutants though, because I feel like the thing is I don't want to like I think that if in terms of analogies, um, I think that the idea of superpowers works a lot better when you treat it as an allegory for weapons and like owning a gun rather than like race or identity because like a lot of racists would have you believe that there is danger to be had with other races being in your area. And I think that's nonsense. Whereas a person who could shoot lasers from their eyes, there's a legitimate concern as to if they should be your neighbor, you know? Like I think that's a much more honest and viable interpretation of superpowers. And so as a result, while I enjoy X-Men comics, and I do think they're, pretty good in general, I do think that now that I have control, now that I am at the steering wheel, I think that I don't want to play too much into the idea that like the superpowered people are a minority group or something, because a superpower is a privilege. And so that kind of messes with it. Um, it's kind of like how I don't like Zootopia because like in what world would a fox take orders from a bunny? Like it kind of messes with the allegories too much to the point where it doesn't make sense. Like it tries to do an analysis on systemic racism while completely forgetting about power, which is a funny idea. Um, so yeah, I think the idea I don't I think that some people definitely should be born with powers in the superhero life universe. I don't want it to be just that though. I want other people to be able to gain their powers later on because you know I think we can both agree Spider-Man and Superman, them getting their powers at different points, led definitely shaped their characters. Like Clark growing up as just having to like control himself and like be very careful, while also at the same time being very powerful. I think really definitely does shape his character, and it wouldn't be the same if Clark was just a normal guy who got superpowers when he was like in his 20s or something, you know? Whereas Spider-Man, I feel like Spider-Man, if he was born with that with the spider superpowers, he would probably be a much more responsible person like Superman, you know? Like the it's funny that the idea of with great power comes great responsibility is a Spider-Man thing. And actually, maybe not funny. Maybe it fits very well because Superman already understands this. Superman grew up understanding that. Spider-Man had to be told that because he just got a bunch of power and wasn't responsible with it. And so, yeah, I think that for the most part, having, I don't want to lock it in as just, oh, everyone was born with it or everyone got it at a later point. I could imagine something like how My Hero Academia does it being okay, where like um, where everyone is born with it, but it like manifests at different times. But also like if someone wants to jump into a vat of acid and come out with superpowers, who am I to judge? Um, yeah, the let's see. Yeah, that yeah, I think also to some extent, like the problem is I feel like people are getting a little bit too scientifically literate. Like if you try to explain any superpower as like a genetics thing, I feel like it limits you a lot more. Like X-Men's a good example. The idea that there's something in your genes which allows you to teleport to like that hell dimension that Nightcrawler goes to between teleports, like that's not a genetic thing. That's very obviously like a supernatural like, thing. Like I think that a full science superpower system is one that is limited in its believability, funnily enough. Like sometimes if you're going to have things that are obviously magic in your game, it is actually less realistic to pretend that it's not magic. We're not doing the metachlorians, like sometimes just say the universe works this way and just, get over it. Don't try to, write yourself into a corner to please like the Reddit atheists who will be like, actually, that's not how this science works. Like, yeah, no. Let's see. Yeah, I think that I think that every power should be well defined. I love magic systems that are well defined, that kind of operate with rules. I love those. There's the strict ones. I don't like the Harry Potter one that much. Like, because I feel like there's just so many clear examples where you're like, well, why don't they do it this way? And it's because the person who wrote it's not that smart. And yeah, it's just the so I would say for the most part. Um, yeah, no, no. I think it's definitely a thing where I want it like I want it to be a magic system where there's a cost. I love it when a magic system is like kind of has like an entropy angle where like if you like I guess Full Metal Alchemist is probably the clearest example of this, where like if you want to make something, something else has to be disassembled. And like that just seems right. Like I love that idea. Um, and I feel like I'd love to see that with a lot of the superpowers in the game, like the what's it called? For example, a person with the Todoroki character in My Hero Academia, the idea of a fire and ice person being the same person actually makes a ton of sense physics wise because if you're going to create ice, you have to take energy out, and if you're going to make fire, you have to release it. And so the idea of like having those be tied together actually would make a whole bunch of sense. Like every person who can freeze something is a person who just took like an entire like flamethrower's worth of energy into their body, and it should go somewhere. They should be able to release that. And so yeah, I love the idea of like that kind of power system. Um, yeah, so it's just, and also when you consider it from like a balancing area, um, like having magic stuff. Like let's say that you just do a basic magic beam. Um, having that, like obviously if you don't put any limits on that, you kind of end up with a very overpowered ability, which no one could compete against. Because what are you going to have, like bulletproof armor or something? Like, no, you'd have to make it magic proof. Like, you have to, the second you have opposing sides, um, like the most extreme version would be one person just saying a spell which kills all life everywhere. You know, like just instant super nuke that wipes out all life. And so if that can be done, some evil person would probably do that, and that would just be the end of things. You know? And so what are the limitations that prevent that from happening? And then you just kind of move backwards from that infinite destruction spell to like, okay, do they have to be able to see the person they cast the spell on? All right, okay. Does a photograph count? No, because it's a mono thing. Okay, okay. Does it do they can you does it cost anything from them? Like I really like the idea that almost like Horcruxes or something, where like you every time you do like a killing curse or something, like it like reduces your magical power, and thus there will be some like powers that could permanently give you a debuff for like an immediate victory. So I think that's very interesting stuff. Um, yeah, like the ultimate killing curse should kill you in some way, you know? And then that encourages people to start being creative, like doing ice spikes or like fire, because those won't kill you in the same way. So yeah. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures has their own they go thing about things a different way. But yeah, I think oh yeah, I'm glad to hear, Rock. Yeah, no, it's so great that there've been some people have gotten to make friends in the game. I want to keep that up. I want the next generation to continue to be able to make friends there. Um, yeah, yeah. So Slend, I am open to the idea of what's it called? I'm open to the idea of having these be what's the phrase? I'm open to the idea of sort of like having certain appearances that are triggered by a certain ability. Like let's say that you're going to be able to have multiple outfits, for instance, for your character. Um, and so the question I guess I have from there is, what is the let's see, how can I both allow people to have that sort of customization while also not trying to do a one size fits all solution. Because the problem with like having your hair stand up or change colors for a certain attack is there could be another person who just doesn't want that to happen, who wants to look like the character they designed it as and thinks that the hair standing up looks silly or something. Like, and so to me, I'd rather just have some connections for like, okay, switch to this outfit when you use this attack. You know, I'd love to be able to bind it to that, um, or like have like a level up outfit that you can define. I think that that would be a lot more empowering to the average user, while also still allowing for those cool moments. Um, but yeah, the early streaming and well, zones because my sleep schedule's messed up. I woke up at like 1 a.m. today. Um, let's see. Which game did you take inspiration from that made you make Superhero Life 2? Superhero Life 1, huge inspiration. Uh, no, but in all seriousness, it's a long journey. Admittedly, I'm not going to say something as arrogant as that I was self-inspired, um, but a large part of the current superhero life design did come from the prior iteration. Like, and the prior iteration to superhero life was a series of games I made on a previous account um, about superheroes as well. Because at the time I recognized that um, the Roblox superhero genre in 2012, um, the character outfits looked horrible. Literally, almost every superhero game, they'd have you be like Hulk or something, and it would just be you with a green shirt on. You know, like Iron Man would just be another texture thing. And I realized that I had the programming skills to make it so you could put parts on the character. Which back in the day, when all you had was you could only equip a single hat at a time on your character, being able to add parts to your character was a game changer. And so as a result, I really started out going into it as like, okay, these other superhero fighting games are fun. Um, I can do them better. I can make customization better. Now, keep in mind, this is back in 2012. I would definitely not say that I'm the best at making superhero games anymore. It's a much more competitive field. But back in 2012, I definitely was, without a doubt. There was only like maybe a dozen or so people, and most of them were just using free models. And so the fact that I was willing to code a solution literally made me the king of the genre for like a year or two. And so yeah, and then from there it was just like, okay, people give me feedback, and then I was like, okay, how do I make this better? And it just kept on iterating until here I am, a decade and a half later, still making the same thing. I guess a decade and a quarter. But yeah, so the yeah, so that's where the superhero life genre game came from, essentially. Just sort of iterating on a prior generic superhero game, which was inspired by the fact that literally nobody was making them in a way that valued the character appearance. And then as to why I went into character customization, because I realized, all right, I want to make my own superhero game. I don't want to make just a Marvel or a DC game. And so it's like, so I have two options essentially. Either A, I can go about making my own custom one, uh, which I did to an extent with the Valor 6. Uh, or I can leave that to the players to figure out. And leaving it to the players was what I went with, and it really paid off because it got a very dedicated fan base as a result. But yeah, the let's see, official superhero comic books would be quite fun for sure. Yeah, I always liked the Overwatch cinematics. Those were I love those. I would love to do something like that at some point. Um, and to some extent, the I love the Team Fortress 2 cinematics, but I think they're a little bit more comedic than I'd probably be aiming for. Um, because I think having a comedic world in your game is good for a casual game. I think that in a world where people are actually engaging with it and trying to like invest their character creation into it, you do really want to take it seriously. And I think that in many ways Marvel has kind of hurt themselves with that. Like the MCU doesn't take itself very seriously, and that I think holds it back sometimes. Like I have a lot of critiques of the DC cinematic universe. Um, they take it seriously. At least they did for a lot of it. Um, the King of 2012. Chris, indeed, Buff. Yeah, the yeah, I that makes sense, Silent Sparrow. Good thinking. I'm glad that I'm going that we're in sync with this because I definitely want to continue supporting that kind of workflow. Um, will the hair in Superhero Life 2 return for the remake? Definitely. Hair being able to flow in the wind, we'll see. I am going to be messing around with editable meshes soon to try to get the hair because what I want to do, I want to make it so that if you put a hat over, like if you put this hat on, I want to make it so that this hair doesn't clip through, and I want to see can I do that with the can I do that with the with the current editor? And so yeah, the do I remember Heroes of Robloxia? Not only do I remember it, I sat next to the guy who made it, or one of them. It was a team effort. Um, yeah, no, actually, the literally the Valor 6 was originally the Heroes of Robloxia characters because I sat next to him and I was like, my boss Deepak, he was the one who led the internship program. I was like, oh, he said I need to add a tutorial and like starter characters, and it's like I don't want to do that. And I was like, can I just use your designs? I don't want to design these characters. And he was like, yeah, sure, go for it. His name was Luke. Very talented guy. I don't think he's too active on Roblox anymore, but hopefully onto better things. But no, I talked to him and he was like, yeah, yeah, go for it, add him. And then I don't remember what happened exactly, but I know that by the time but once it was time to actually release the game, I was like, I should probably make my own characters. I don't want to be tied to someone else's ideas. And so I made modifications to the characters, and change them up to be their own thing. Um, and I think that was a good move overall. Because obviously for that I haven't talked to Luke in years. If he still had IP rights over the characters, I'd be in trouble. I'd be like, oh no, please let me do these things. Though actually, from the fact that I'm literally like the final person who worked on that game who's still on Roblox, I could probably just get the IP at some point. But um, you know, uh, does Forsyth still make stuff? I haven't heard of him in a bit. Granted, nobody's heard of me in a bit. I haven't released anything, so it's not like a critique. Let's see. So I know he did a lot of the art stuff, so he probably has a share in the ownership of it. Also, I don't want to buy it. I have my own stuff. I'm not going to buy it. But just like in an alternate world where if I had not separated my brand from theirs, that would have actually been complicated. So yeah, not only do I know about Heroes of Robloxia, we are like cousins in terms of the actual world. I have gotten some sleep since last MG, but yeah, I actually got the most sleep I've gotten in a while. I got 8 hours of sleep last night. I have a watch to prove it and everything. Um, it tracks my heart rate while I sleep, so you know, it's cool. It's cool. I'm really getting into this whole like health metric data science stuff. It's not surprising considering how much I love analytics, but you know, didn't expect I would enjoy it this much. Um, yeah, the how am I doing today? I'm doing all right, Z. When do I go back to my normal time streaming? Uh, so realistically, how it's going to work is I'm just going to start moving up an hour or two every few days. Because my schedule is basically rotating around the clock right now. And based on whenever I get reemployed to work on the, um, for different job stuff, that will probably shape my sleep schedule a lot more directly. But yeah, I will say the I do miss my waking up. I think my day starting at 11 or 12 is probably the best time for me because it gives me enough time that if I have to go outside and do things, I have time for that. Because right now, if I wanted to say go get lunch, I'd be exhausted by the time, it was like, it'd be like 9 at night for me by the time like the Chipotle opens or something. So, um, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry to hear about the 20-hour work sessions. Best of luck with that. I know that's a brutal thing to balance. Um, yeah, let's see. I would say that Valor 6 Descendants feels weird. It's more like it's almost closer to like a multiverse thing because I wouldn't say that there is any specific thing. Like, really, it is the color palette. Like, let me think. Like, Heroes of Robloxia. If you look up the Heroes of Robloxia, you can see pretty clearly where the color palettes came from. Like we have the strong guy is red, the guy who runs fast is yellow, the guy who flies around, is I guess not green, but point is like you can kind of see where the initial inspirations. I believe it was only for the first five. I think the other ones were added later because there are only a few of them. But for the most part, like Red Rage and Snow Sister and Radiant Runner have the clearest DNA with Heroes of Robloxia, but it's mostly visual, like except for Red Rage, where he does have super strength. But I gave Red Rage a cape. Snow Sister's powers are completely different to my memory because um, I don't remember what the blue woman is called in Heroes of Robloxia, but she has like fire and electricity powers. Um, so yeah, like you can see where they all come from, but at the same time, telekinesis guy, yeah. Like I did not when I decided to change the characters, I didn't do like a minimum change as possible. I was like, okay, what's the fastest way I can make these as different as possible? So, there's definitely still a clear imprint on them, but for the most part, I think that like you can tell I descended from my parents because I look like them, and you can see like, oh my, I got my mom's face and like my dad's facial hair, and all like you can see like all the features kind of blend together. Like I have my dad's nose, like mom's eyes, like just keep on like seeing the blend break down. I don't think it works like that for the Heroes of Obloxia tie-in because it really is just like the only reason Red Rage is still red is because um, I it took me it would take too long to recreate it from scratch, you know. Um, but yeah, hey there, Zone, Dad, good to see you. Actually, my dad watches these streams sometimes, so I might have just said hello to my father. Um, in which case, hey there, Dad, thanks for stopping by. Um, but yeah, the that doesn't sound right, Z. I hope that that is humor. And if it is humor, I hope that you stop making dark humor in this chat. Hmm. Let's see. Is there a universe where Valor 6 is like the 7? Um, I mean, like, I definitely know that they weren't an inspiration because the boys came out after this. And I didn't read the comics, uh, thankfully. The I would say that the idea of there being a villainous version of them is not crazy, I don't think. But honestly, I don't know about y'all. I'm kind of sick of multiverses. I don't want another multiverse. I'm tired of it. Spider-Verse was honestly enough, and everything else, it's exhausting. So if I work my hardest and am creative, superhero life will never be a multiverse. Um, mhm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Time traffic sales. Superhero life to inspire the boys. Yeah, no, please, anything but that. Um, let's see. What, what's going on here? Sorry, just zooming through a bunch of different notifications. Okay. Um, but yeah, the yeah, I mean, like for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how the character customization's going. I'm going to be doing some work on getting like the hair to not see if I can do some stuff about like hair clipping and such. Because it'd be cool if you could like combine things. The question is, how do you best separate the meshes? Like, okay, for example, say that we wanted to have, um, I guess I was pretty good at filtering out the ones that have separate parts, but it would be very nice if, oh, I should be putting the necklace in the other one. But yeah, it'd be very nice if I was able to sort of just take that hair and then just sort of cut it down by, just cut off the top part. So that's the current dream, to be able to layer these together in meaningful ways. But yeah, that's the current strategy. Yeah, well, I mean, like the that's essentially what we're gonna be doing, time traveling seal. Um, oh, RIP that multiverse. Um, thank you, G-Bug. Much appreciated. Let's see. Did you ban him or just put him in timeout? I will Raffian make a cinematic for Superhero 2 remake? Probably not. He's very busy these days. Gotcha. No worries. Okay. Yeah, the Z, please behave. Don't make us remove you from the conversation. Yeah, the so yeah, so Ryan, while they are more qualified than ever to make an animation, um, they are certainly too busy. They're working on their own game now, and they have a full-time job, which will be me soon. Because I did accept, an employment contract a little bit, or I accepted an employment offer. I haven't signed the contract yet, so I will be doing full-time work in the next few weeks, probably. Which I've been saying this for a while, but so this will become, another 2 or 3 hour a day thing, most likely. But uh, you know, the game's still coming out. Honestly, that's the thing which I don't think people realize. The majority of superhero life was done as a part-time thing. Like, which, I summer, of course, I was able to focus on things full time. But even then, like, I do more work, in a single weekend than I did most weeks uh, in college. Um, I wouldn't say I was lazy, but I definitely wasn't as locked in as I am now, or have been for the last few years at least. I don't think I was scared enough. That's the thing. Being a game developer is terrifying, because you're constantly watching, like, AI take swings at you. You know that if the game fails, it's on you. Games take a long time to make. There's a lot of bugs. There's a lot of people interacting with it. And I think that anyone who is not sufficiently stressed out as a game developer is ignorant. They don't recognize how it can all fall apart very quickly. And I think that, up until I really honed in on deciding, okay, I am going to be a game developer because, like it or not, this is a thing I'm best at, and I want to maximize in it. So yeah, how do I feel about the DC AU got erased? Thank goodness they messed that thing up badly. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's a single thing I missed from it. I liked the Batman. Uh, I liked I liked Batman in the DC universe, the most recent one. But like, I preferred the Batman they did in the prequel, which I believe isn't getting wiped. So I like Henry Cavill, but I didn't really care much for his Superman. Is there a single thing I would have missed from the DC universe? I guess Peacemaker. That's sad. I liked that show, and I liked the Suicide Squad movie, the second one. But like, literally, didn't that movie only exist because of the guy who is literally making the entire universe now? So it's, James Gunn. So like, I don't know. Oh, the animated series from the 90s. Oh, um, that doesn't feel as permanent. Like, I think it makes sense, and I respect their decision to not make on making those animated things now that uh, the voice actors for some of the characters have passed on. But like, hear me out. They're never gonna make another like Flash movie with Ezra Miller, like like um like a full on movie with him. Like, he might make a cameo if they're stupid. He might make a cameo. But there's never going to be another movie where like the current like DC universe all comes back together, unless it's like a homage thing. Like, really, like, that universe is pretty much fully dead. It's not being added to, except for Easter eggs and callbacks in future things, and your inevitable never-ending multiverse saga, which every comic book is going into now. Um, but like the animated one, it's a lot easier to bring back an animated show. Like, the amount of effort to bring back Clone High versus, say, bringing back any TV show from the 90s. Like, if you were to remake Smallville, like, half the actors are on to other things. One of them's in prison. Like, yeah, there's like bringing back live action people. Everyone looks old now. Like, things would be. very difficult to bring back, you know. Um, but bringing back an animated TV show, literally for them to bring back the DCAU, all they have to do is get rid of every producer with a soul who's like, no, the people who worked on this asked for it to not be continued. And then like use an AI to repeat the voices. Like I'm a lot more pessimistic on whether the DCAU is dead. I There's a lot of money in it, and there's a lot of ways you can continue making it if you just wanted to make money from it. So yeah, I'm not necessarily mourning that loss. Um, yeah, it's just like I'm too cynical about it. Like there's no way that they would give that up. Comic book studios never give up stuff. Like name a single comic book character who doesn't immediately come back. It's just yeah. Hey there, heroes. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's like we're living in a universe where they literally wouldn't let Iron Man die. I'm I'm still so angry about that. Oh well. Oh well. But yeah, there was a funny quote I saw a few days ago about how like what was it that nobody ever comes everyone nobody stays dead in comic books except what was the quote? Yeah, it says the only characters who stay dead in comic books are Uncle Ben, Bucky, and Jason Todd, which is very funny because that did not age well, as both Bucky and Jason Todd are notoriously resurrected. Um, so I guess Uncle Ben is the final character they need to resurrect for the entire industry to be a joke. But yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, like for the most part, I'm going to be working on getting these different character things all worked out. Hopefully, let's see. Yeah, we'll just have to see how much of a headache I'm willing to give myself with this. But I would love if I could just use editable meshes to just clip this hair out. I think that'd be quite nice. Yeah. That's very funny, Squid Stick. I hope that's the case. Um, yeah, yeah. No, Ezra Miller, man. I know that the MCU does hire its fair share of controversial people, but there was like no screening process for the DC universe. Um, I believe that heroes, for the most part, like it's kind of like what they did with the Ancient One. Like if you remember, the Ancient One was originally a stereotype for like an Asian person, and they just decided we're just going to have Tilda Swinton play it because she doesn't look like she's even human, so we'll avoid all of that. And everyone was kind of okay with it for the most part. Um, I don't know. I have complex feelings on Doom's requiring Romani representation. Like I like to think of it as if Doom had gotten a Romani person to play it, that'd be nice. That'd be a win for the Romani people. But also like this is a villain, I guess. Like, do we really want to have like that kind of thing? We're like, ah, yes, the first Romani character any person has seen. They're the evilest person in the universe. Um, yeah, yeah. No, I think Tilda Swinton did a fine job as the Ancient One, and I think that's just an example of like we need to. I think it's good that we've had a conversation about being considerate of the various minority groups a character represents when casting it, you know? Like hiring a deaf person to play a deaf person, hiring, don't ever race swap, to a white person from a different race. Like, I think we can agree that that stuff's fine. But at the end of the day, these are actors. And frankly, I never even realized Doom was Romani. Like I've been familiar with the character for a long time. I'm not like a super fan, obviously, as I didn't know that. But like, if Black Panther was a white person, I'd immediately recognize it. Be like, oh, they changed this. If like if Doom was Hungarian, I would not notice at all. Like, and that's I guess the thing. Like, I feel like the representation here is very much one that I think that the limit to what kind of representation you would not want to change is Magneto should always be Jewish because of the Holocaust tie-in, and that'd be really messed up to remove that from the backstory. But like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, and I think like just like I think that there's a discussion of like, can you remove this from the character's identity without it causing the character to change in the public eye? And to my understanding, was there a lot of Romani culture tied up in the in Doom as a recognized character? Like, I mean, guess maybe this is the part where I get educated, but like, is the green cape and metal armor, is that a Romani thing? Is that like, and I guess that's kind of like the oh yeah, having Magneto work with Red Skull is diabolical. That does not make sense. Um, yeah, the so yeah, I don't know. Like also like for what it's worth, like Robert Downey Jr., as much as I hate this casting, if I remember correctly, isn't he like I'm pretty sure he is like Eastern European like descent, right? Like the distance from his ancestors to like Romania is probably only a few hundred miles. So I don't know. I think that it would have been very nice if they had done this for the representation reasons, but like I don't think that is the biggest mistake. Honestly, Zone, I have no idea. G-Bug, did you put Zone in timeout? Zone, I'm sure you deserved it. I'll say that much, but I don't know why. Did he deserve it, G-Bug? All right. I trust G-Bug on this. Sorry, Zone. Please behave. Um, let's see. I believe you, G-Bug. I don't want to see the detail. Thank you for resolving that. Yeah, Zone, just remember, well, as much as I hope that you grow in your time in this chat, um, if you make it too miserable for everyone else, I will not be sacrificing their enjoyment. So please behave. Um, let's see. Yeah, I remember the Joker killing Red Skull. That was fun. I do like it when like an evil character um like has like a few issues where they're okay on, you know? Like where they're just like, all right, this is a line too far for me. You know, or like in the scene in the Joker movie where like he didn't kill that one guy, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a fun little character moment, you know? Like Homelander, I do accept the take that Homelander is probably much more that the evil that is Homelander is more common than we think. However, I do not believe for a second that that is all you said. I know for sure there is some weird messed up detail that you are not telling me, and Gbug knows, and I trust Gbug on this. So the question is, do you stop digging your hole deeper, or um, you know, because like I'm tired. I woke up about 12 hours, like 9 hours ago, and been coding all day. And Gbug, a very nice person who I've known for years, who has done so much service to the community, you know, like, is here helping me. And if you're making his life difficult, I do not like that. Oh, I have some water. Yeah. That is a funny thing to say unprompted. Like, CJ, you look dehydrated. You've aged 20 years. Um, no, I appreciate it. I'm glad y'all are looking out for me. Um, yeah, honestly, there was probably I could totally see myself going to like university as like a professor one day. I don't mind teaching. I'm definitely a yapper. I love talking. I love it when other people can't interrupt me because I'm talking, and I can talk for hours and hours and hours at a time. So I think perfectly good. Uh, you know, I've aged 7 years in the last 7 years. I wish that was true. I wish that was true. But like, I know for a fact right now that, especially when my hair was longer, people would look at me and see. Right now, when people see me, they think 30s. I'm 26, so it's not the end of the world to be 30s. When my hair is not short and it's like just kind of messy, they immediately think 40s. Like if my beard's a little bit too long and my hair is a little bit too messy, they're like 40s. That guy's 40s every time. It's awful. It's horrifying. I know. 20. Wait, Buff, how? No, it happened again. How old did you think I was? Yeah. 50. There we go. There we go. You see, this is what I mean. Yeah. The I have heard 50 on occasion, but 40s is usually where it's at. 30s when I don't look like a hot mess. A lot of it's the weight, honestly. I've gained about what 20 pounds or so since college. The problem is every time I move to a new place, it immediately messes up my life, and just the weight just comes on. And then, but then I settle in, starts dropping off again. But literally, I've been moving to a new place every year, like clockwork, since let's see, since like 2020. Actually, since like 2017, I've been moving a lot. But yeah, just just I'm settling in now. Weight's dropping back off again. Soon I will look 30s and accept my place. Yeah, it has led to some funny things though, where like some exes that I dated will be like, "Oh yeah, I love how mature you look," and I'm like, "We're the same age." Yeah, let's see, the fast food secrets guy on it's the beard, yeah. Well, the thing is, I've always had a beard since like I've had a beard since I was like 15. And the problem is, and like that made me look older, but me with the beard at like 15 through like I'd say when I was 19 and had a beard, I looked 22. Like the offset was not nearly as drastic. It went from like a 2 or 3 year maturity thing to like actually decades. So yeah, I think it's also a vibe thing. Like when you look a little bit older than you are and you're autistic, I don't know, there's just some boomer energy you inherit or something. I don't know. Yeah, the so I think it is also how I behave and dress. Like I dress in button ups and uh, you know, sweaters and stuff. It's not very hip. So, there are certainly things I could do to look younger, but I just don't want to look 40s yet. I'd never want to get like more than 1 decade ahead of myself. Because very quickly you run out of decades. Because if I'm 20 years ahead of where I am right now, and then one day I turn 50, like then I'm like, oh, okay, my life's ending soon. Like, I'm about to hit that 73 average age for a man. So, I wanna take care of myself. Yeah. The No, I think that makes sense. Yeah, like yeah, saying hip isn't hip. Well, yeah. Though honestly, I definitely have like some dad energy when it comes to like being intentionally cringe. I still dab. I will dab until I die. It will make less and less sense, but I will continue to do it because I find it genuinely funny to inflict this cringe on other people. Oh, definitely. I think I've made sure to have a dab emote in every version of the game. I believe Superhero Life 2 and 3 both have that, right? And if not, we will be fixing that. Um, okay, let's see. Yeah, yeah. hmm Yeah, there's nothing funnier than your friend introducing you to someone and then you immediately embarrassing them with by just being the weirdest person. Uh, but yeah, no dab emote in two. What's even the point? Okay, we're fixing that. Don't worry. Well, it's admittedly that is partially by design, Buff. Right now, I'm very much the code I'm working on is not very interesting and it's slow and I'd much rather just take some time, interact with my community, and then get back to work an hour after. Just so yeah, it's fun. I think that having an hour of me talking with y'all is better than 3 hours of me just typing away. Let's see. Oh yeah, well the things I wasn't supposed to ask you about, I only that's a very small list for me. I'm not saying that the list isn't larger. I just only know a few items on it, and I I just learned, don't ask questions. Don't appear interested in anyone else. Just talk about trains, and that'll be enough. Like obviously, as you get to know a specific person, you can ask more about them. But until you're ready to actually get to know someone, just being yourself and not giving too much of a crap about them. Don't be like mean, but the lot of people are working through their own issues, and I found it better to just take that stuff slowly. Immerse yourself in their craziness one day at a time. But yeah, the yes, the real purpose of the remake was in fact to put the dad mode in Superior 2. That is the canon reason. There were no all the other ones are ways to mislead you. That is the truth. They thought dabbing was a gang sign. I mean, for what it's worth, it probably is. Like, how like everything kind of gets co-opted by someone you don't like at some point. Like, the OK sign. There was like a year or two in 2019 where like I was terrified to do the OK sign because everyone who did the OK sign was a Nazi, and I wasn't, and I didn't want people to think I was. But I've been doing the OK sign my entire life, and so now, thankfully that fad moved on for the most part. But it's exhausting, really. But yeah, thankfully, hopefully you are now free to dab now. You guys see Scott Pilgrim? Oh, I love Scott Pilgrim. I also really like the animated show, though that was more controversial, I understand. But I really like Scott Pilgrim. Um, it does a good job of like just sort of immersing you in a fun little world. And Scott is a fun character, but definitely the least fun character in the show. That is a movie where every character is kind of a win. You know, though I feel like the animated version of the show did a better job sort of expressing that they had more time to actually work with the characters, and I think that was nice. I really liked the show. People didn't like it. I liked it. Other people are wrong. I know. I know. It's not just their opinion. They're just wrong people. Um, yeah. It's a shame that they're so wrong with their opinions, but each of us has our uh, cross to bear. For them, it's being wrong about the Scott Pilgrim show. Um, let's see. Let's see. Is there official Word documents? Kind of. They're spread across a bunch of different areas. Some of them are in Miro. Some of them are written down notes on maps. Some of them are in what's it called? Eventually, it's all gonna be in the Obsidian Markdown text in the Superhero Life repository, but I'm still gathering all that and figuring all that out. Um, yeah, no, definitely though. talking about Pac-Man out of nowhere, iconic opening. I'm sure it'll serve you well. The Yeah, but honestly, like for real though, like just being passionate about something, you all don't understand how boring people can be. Actually, you probably do understand, but like what you don't understand is that other people don't like that as well. And so being like talking about what you're interested in, being unashamedly yourself, yeah, some people won't like that. Some people will be like, this person's annoying. But they were always going to think you're annoying. It would just take them longer. What this ends up doing is the people who actually like you, they open up a lot faster. They engage with you a lot better. And so yeah, don't hide your entire personality to fit in. That's a waste of time for you and everyone else involved. But yeah, no, I'm glad to see that you have the entire all those little fun facts. Yeah, I have those too. For me, probably my go-to fun fact is how heat pumps are more than 100% efficient because it uses the latent heat outside. Thus, the amount of energy it uses to run a heat pump actually removes more heat from an environment. Sorry, it adds more heat to an environment than the energy provided. And so it's like an efficiency over 100%, and that's just so cool. Feels like a cheat code. And yeah, heat pumps are amazing. But yeah, yeah, you're definitely not going to make everyone happy. And hopefully, in this world where increasingly awful people are in the public light, we can understand not everyone's worth having as your friend. You know, like the there's got to be a way to balance empathy for others with recognizing that sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is not be their next victim. Yeah, but yeah, let's see. Well, I devs don't lie, indeed. Yeah, I I hope that I can save y'all some time. I'm 26 on 45. At least that my wisdom has aged me. It's left me scarred and deformed. My experience of life, and so you know, though it's not super complicated. I just think in a world where like a lot of young guys out there learning life advice from Andrew Tate, um, you know, it's more important than ever that if you are a guy who has a lot of guys looking at you, you show them what it means to be an adult with without being just some awful piece of garbage. Yeah, but yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, yeah, it's okay. You don't have to be friends with everybody. Like think about it this way. Most of like what people need is a shared environment. I genuinely believe that if you are in the same place with someone else for long enough, um, if you are meant to be their friend, you will be their friend. Very rarely, I say that people start off as enemies and become friends. Like I see a lot of people who start off as like enemies and then cool off and are now neutral with each other. That's normal. But I feel like it's pretty rare for people to do that 180. And yeah, I mean, it's fun when it happens. I'm not saying it'll never happen, but like for the most part, yeah, like people are pretty consistent to themselves. Now, I've seen a lot of friends become enemies. Don't get me wrong, but enemies becoming friends is a lot rarer. And yeah, yeah, no, like just what you need to do is hang out around people, and you'll make friends. You know, obviously, build up some social skills. If you offend someone or hurt someone's feelings, take note of that and don't do it again. But like for the most part, humans want connection. People want to have friends. And so if you're a reasonable person and you're in the same spot every day, um, then you'll have friends. And that's why I genuinely, not even kidding, you know how everyone here is kind of lonely nowadays? Like there's a lot of lonely people right now. I genuinely think it's just the internet and the fact that we've built cities for cars. Like it is so hard to have communal spaces anymore. It is so hard to just hang out with people. Like part of the reason I chose this apartment is because it has hangout areas. Unfortunately, it's a very new building, and so there isn't many other people in this building besides me. But having that third place to hang out with people, it's more important than ever. There's a city for cars. Yes, have you heard of this country called America? Every city there is built for cars. If that doesn't make sense to you, it's because you've never lived in a non-American city or visited one. Though if hey, yeah, no, there's a ideally you should be able to walk to places without it taking like half an hour. Like when I was in when I lived in Brazil, it's probably the most recent example, though Manhattan also had this. I was able to get my groceries within 8 minutes, get a coffee within 3 minutes, various restaurants within 5 minutes. Um, there was a bus that came every 20 minutes. Like you could, though I admittedly I just Ubered because have that American dollar over there. You can Uber a lot, but in general, if I hadn't been able to do that, the bus system would have been fine. And like that's the idea. It's that literally in Brazil, the walking somewhere was just the easiest, most convenient thing at all times. And I think that's just the case for a lot of the world. And that's what happens when you don't have everyone have their own house and spread those houses out by 3 acres of land in a giant sprawling neighborhood. And you have to take a highway to get to the supermarket. So yeah, no. Walkable cities, please, please, please. That's something you can vote for in local elections. Vote for things that make your city more walkable, and that means things like, good mass transit. Uh, I'm near a light rail right now, and I love it. If I want to get to downtown Denver, it takes me like 20 minutes, and there's a lot of stores near me and stuff. I chose a good spot for walking because I lost my car in a flood a few years ago, and I'm just seeing how long I can go without buying a new one. And so far, it has been 4 years without owning a car. Yep, I'm in Denver. Yeah, I made it. Yeah, the so yeah, it's definitely a what's it called? I think that if you can make a city walkable, literally the population is healthier, the people have more friends. Uh, the the places that are built on it are more valuable. If you own a house in a walkable city, like look at how most those houses in like New York go for, you know? Like there's like literally everyone wins with walkability. Um, and yeah, so the only reason you have to drive everywhere, I'm not even kidding, is because car companies lobby. They lobby for this stuff. You literally cannot zone buildings for to be more dense in some places, in a lot of places, and it's absurd. And yeah, I feel like there's momentum gaining for walkability. So I don't, which is good, but yeah, there's a lot of damage that needs to be undone in the meantime. Yeah, yeah, Z, if you could get around to saving the planet, please. It's been, not sure how much longer we're gonna make it. Yeah, let's see, but yeah, yeah, no, the regulation for maintaining certain parking lot spots, that's definitely a true squid stick. That causes a lot of damage. I'm open to the idea that in Brazil they did this thing where if you had a parking lot, it would have to be under the building. So there was a lot of underground parking and like first floor as a parking lot stuff. It's not ideal because ideally your first floor would be places where you put like shops and other human focused stuff. But I definitely prefer having a parking lot as the first floor of a building or underground over having it just be the entire area surrounding it. So yeah, it's a bit more expensive, but I think it's better for the city long term. It's also a lot more, it lowers your tax rate. Walkable cities get lower tax rates because do you know where so much of your local taxes go? To keeping those roads paved. And it is absurd how many roads you got to pave. So many cities right now are actually going to collapse because they have more roads than they can actually afford on their own budget. The only reason they haven't collapsed is because the city keeps growing. And so they use the revenue from the sales of new buildings to pay for that growing city, that growing road structure, and all the apply and like and all of the sewage and electricity and all the costs of maintaining a less dense city. It's all pyramid scheme, man. Like it's there's going to be a lot of pain in a lot of cities unless they make things more walkable, unless they embrace density. So yeah, like please, 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 if you haven't already, support walkable cities. Um, so yeah, yeah, no, not to mention, of course, all the people who get in car accidents. Like, here's the cool thing about a walkable city. Walkable cities don't need to ban cars. We ambulances are still useful in walkable cities, you know? But a walkable city, if a person wants to drive somewhere in a walkable city, they're driving at 20 miles per hour rather than 50. And if you hit something at 20 miles per hour, you're going to be okay. You know, your car's not going to be totaled. And you'll still get to the place relatively quickly because it's a walkable, dense city. You're not going as far. And so, genuinely, in like every way, making your city more dense makes it a better city. Yeah. There will be some people who say that homelessness is higher in walkable cities. And my point of view is that homelessness is a pretty constant thing. It's just when the city's walkable, you can't hide it. Like the problem with homeless people in a city continues to exist when there are suburbs. It's just the suburbs all bust their homeless people back to the city. You know, like it's messed up. And I think that if by making cities more walkable, we have to actually help people with homelessness, then that's a win-win. So, you know, yeah, I think that this is something a lot of people, once they understand, would get behind. It's just there's a lot of money from people to make sure that you don't understand it. So yeah, no, take the red pill, understand that cars hold us back in so many ways, and that we should zone our cities to be more dense. This is why y'all showed up to the stream, right? Let's see. But yeah, back onto less interesting topics, like this video game. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna pause stream soonish. Well, actually, that's a funny thing because the reason I learned a lot of city planning stuff was in learning about map design. Yeah, the oh, I've been talking for so long about stuff that I don't think Bloxomatic realized the editor's working. Um, but yeah, I like messing with this one. Woo. Oompa, loompa, loompa dee. Hey there, Bloxomatic, welcome. Yeah, but no, a lot of game design and like city planning, there's a bunch of overlap. Um, uh, and yeah, and I think you can see it in all this stuff. Why do people focus on advancing technologies rather than ourselves? We can use Dune as an example. Let's see. Yeah. Can't wait to test it. Yeah, no, me neither. Though honestly, considering the fact that in the next week or two, I'm probably going to go into working full time on other stuff, and this will become a part time thing again. I might just start using my evenings as to just build out the content because okay, if I was working on the game full time for the next month or so, I would have to find ways to work around the fact that editable images and um, editable meshes aren't out yet. And so instead of doing that, and so instead of doing that, I might as well just keep them in there and then release the game once they're done because then I can use the extra time to like build up assets, to add interiors, to make the weapons. Like if so, yeah. So That's so testing. The game might be playable in studio this month. Um, in fact, maybe even this week. But it would not be. I'm not sure how if I'm going to release and add it for other people to play it until editable meshes and textures are out. It really just depends on what my schedule is looking like. Like if literally everything I want to do is done, then I would release it. Then I would like put in the effort to like bypass the editable image and mesh stuff. But they say it's going to release this year, so who knows? This game probably will be playable come this Christmas. You know, we might get another Christmas release like with Superhero Life 3. Um, though I probably would release it the day before or after because, fun fact, if you release a game on Christmas, you are going to be stressed on Christmas. So, you know, life lessons learned the hard way. But yeah, I can't wait for y'all to test it too, though, G-Bug. I just need to I need to decide what the best release schedule is because it will be playable soon in terms of the work I have done to make it playable will be done. But releasable for y'all to test depends on Roblox finishing up that beta. Because right now, editable images just don't work in a live game. Um, yeah, will we still be able to apply materials to all items? Not all items, but that was never true. Um, let's see. For something like, say, okay, for something like here, we do have a material menu set up. I still need to like add it though. Like we have these little tabs available for it, but yeah. So materials will be added for things that make sense for materials. Like with the eye recolor, you'll notice it doesn't even have a retexture option. Hair as well. I I'll be honest, y'all. I go back and forth on this. I know that y'all want me to add material customization for the hair. I don't want to do that. I think that'll make it look worse on average. It's kind of like how y'all hate that I use tinfoil for the oceans. I would hate that y'all use force field for the hair, you know? Like, exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm open to say, like, there are people out there who'd be like, well, what if you want to have like different hair textures, you know? As y'all know, there wasn't a ton of black hair in the early Superhero Life 2 games. But we'll just add that hairstyle, you know, like we'll just add that. We don't need to like, like there aren't like your hair texture shapes what your hair looks like, you know? So um, I don't think that just doing a texture level swap on a mesh that has a different hair texture makes a lot of sense. And so I'd rather just, in fact, I wouldn't just rather, I have done this. I have literally built out the entire pipeline for adding new hair. Like if I want to add new hair, I literally just have to copy this, change it up. In fact, I have a little tool that I wrote to help me do this. Um, literally, it does all the tokenization for me. It literally writes the entire thing for me if I want. Literally, it literally writes the function for me. I can just copy whatever it puts out. It's nice. Well, no, your dark textured hair is fine. Like, let's for example, this mustache right now that I'm wearing, it's dark hair. Um, because and all I do now is you can now actually edit the texture. You know, like you can literally you can change it to be visible in different colors. So yeah, that's something that's very valuable, and I think will make things a lot easier for people. But yeah, that's the current situation. You can even select different hair colors. Like you can apply the color to all of these. Like say you wanted to make your character have red hair. Um, though let's see, alpha brightness. Let's raise these up. Alpha. Okay, let's lower that down. There we go. Yeah, and like so you can have like actual, you know, hair recoloring. Thank you. Yeah, no, I've been working hard to get the UX to be better. This label's being cut off right now for some reason, but for the most part, this has saturation usually. But yeah, no, it's also very flexible. So long term, I'm going to be adding things like, for example, being able to input your hex color directly, different swatches that you could use for saved colors. Like I'm going to be able to build out all of these. I've been doing a very good job keeping the data itself very flexible, so that adding new things and reorganizing stuff is very easy. So we can add a bunch of stuff later on. But yeah, so sorry, material will not be added to hair, but you will be able to edit the texture in certain ways. So like if you want to have, if you want to have a dark hair that's now like a light blonde or something like this, you could do that. Like this mustache, if you look at the little textures, this mustache and this hair, they're black usually. And so with the editable texture technology that I've embraced, this is what the stuff I'm talking about. Why I can't just release the game right now, because like you can actually make stuff more visible. You can literally do all this stuff with it, and I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, and because you can actually select multiple of these, I can literally like adjust. I can tune it so that this hair matches about as well as as the other ones. Like if this one needs to be a slightly different shade, I can actually do that. Like I can actually mess with just the beard if I want. But yeah, I'm a little concerned about how it affects some of my specific characters. Like I've used hair to make unique helmets and masks. Well, that's the thing, man. Like you, just so that we're clear, what, okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding. What do you think can't be done with this? Because what I'm saying can be done is that you can change the color and you can hide the texture. You can make like a plastic thing. But like for the most part, I've also really built out the hair accessories. Like we have 20 pages of these items. So I do think that like if you wanted to have like a certain hairstyle, if you wanted to, like you should have a ton more options for layering stuff. Like this also has the same thing. Like let's say that you wanted this item here to be like we can remove the texture of this if we want. Oh, actually, wait, I forgot. You have to add it. Um, but yeah, the let's see hoods. Let's see where's there it is. Okay, so apply. Yeah, the this one should be pretty good for the hue shift one. Oh, whoops. Look at that. You can literally do like this with it. Hey. Yeah, so if you wanted to have a fire version of this, or you could, of course, remove the color entirely and just manually, do like a monochrome approach. Like, you should have so much more flexibility with creating your characters. I genuinely um, don't think y'all need to worry about uh, being able to recreate your characters. Let's see. We'll have a demo for testers? Yeah. So the idea is it's going to be added as a mode in Superhero Life 2 first, and people with the testing role in Nightcycle Studios will be able to enter the game. Now, for those of you, the majority of you probably, who don't have that role, we will be setting up a bot so you can give yourself that role in the Discord. Um, so yeah, so don't worry too much about that. RGB hoodie, yeah, the gamer keyboard. But yeah, no, I think that I'm very happy with how things are looking for the most part. We're also gonna be doing some cool stuff with like layered shirts and stuff. Um, but yeah, no, like that's probably how we're gonna check in on these kind of things. Glad to hear, Exterminator. Thanks for stopping by, Buff. Uh, enjoy your sleep. Let's see. Yeah, no, I think that there this when I am done with this, I'm not going to be exaggerating when I say you will have the most character control of any other game on Roblox. Like literally, like you will be able to make characters with like more direct control over things than literally anywhere else. Short of like maybe a few edge cases, like there might be a game out there, for instance, which allows you to modify the depth and width at the same time. Whereas for the most part, I apply it to both evenly. But not for 90% of like the actual decoration and outfit creation stuff. The my immediate embracing of editable images and meshes will give us a huge head start in making something very special. And like I would like it. This game will go from a superhero game to a make any character you want game, which, in fairness, is also what the superhero genre did. Like, let's not pretend that the superhero genre is just people in tights and a cape nowadays. Like, look at what's it called? One Punch Man. Like, look at the characters in that. Like, it's a mix of people just wearing everyday clothes to their people. There are knights, there's space people. Like, literally, it's the superhero genre at this point is every character design. So long as it looks cool, you can be a superhero. And yeah, I think that Superhero Life 2's remade editor is prepared for that. So yeah, exciting. One issue with the current eye thing, we're gonna have to find a custom solution for making the neon eyes. I'm not saying it's impossible, but we're gonna have to work at it. I'm not aware of any specific to emblem glitch, but we will be doing layered emblems. So don't you worry about that. Yeah, the I have not seen Wintertide. I have seen the after the Flash games before, and I know that they're usually pretty good. I know that my favorite, uh, yeah. So let's see. My favorite one was the Sandstorm one, not Sandstorm. It was one with Docktown. It was an early one. I don't remember what it's called, but let's see. So Wintertide. Let's see. The let me check that out. I don't know if my can I handle Roblox scenes? I don't know. But either way, I will. I'll check that out. So the rigs so we do have the ability to swap out rigs in this in the game. Well, it's not in the editor yet, but let's see. How do I? Okay, so I'm just going to quickly join a server and look at the character editor. But yeah, no, like we're going to have we already have the entire workflow set up so you can swap out the underlying body type. So if we wanted to have like a robot body or something, or a lizard body, heck, if you wanted to have a single arm that was a lizard arm, that's something we can do. It's not implemented currently because we don't have a ton of body types to choose from. But from a tech perspective, from a backend perspective, we're already set up for that. So yeah, the immediate uses of it will be for things like different gender conforming bodies. Um, because they don't allow to add parts to the character. And I guess that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is why I feel confident that I could say that I have made the best character editor. Because even if there are individual areas where someone else could specialize, I don't think that there are any other games on Roblox which go this far in every direction. You know, like yeah, the like for the most part, I just looked through the superhero lab two suggestions and just went yes and then this is the resulting editor. But yeah, so let's see, customizing my character. Okay, I will say I'm having trouble understanding the character editor here. There's a lot of buttons on my screen. Now here's the thing. I am a stupid person. I make stupid mistakes all the time. I have the stupid brain. However, um, that being said, the average Roblox player is 11. So, that's why I've been putting a lot of effort into making sure that my UI is very user friendly. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. But, making sure that, like, who couldn't understand this? If you can read, you can understand this screen. Like, you can understand, okay, to get out, I do this. Like, I've been putting a lot of effort into stuff. Um, but yeah, so I think that for the most part, though, like, I definitely, yeah, I can see the different rigs. So yeah, I definitely want to have this kind of body support, but it's going to include being able to add parts on it. So that's how we're going to level up. We're going to have multiple body styles. We're going to allow you to like have like a robot arm or something, and then yeah, that's going to be pretty fun. Yeah. So that's the thing. I don't think that an editor like this system right here, like this editor has a lot of depth. I can prove it to y'all because this is what the editor is defined as. Literally, okay, so this is the entire editor. It has all these different layers. It defines sections with different areas for things to look at, different zoom levels. With different panels, you can have a bunch of different panels. And each panel has different tabs. And there's also space on screen for floating action buttons. For example, like with the hats, when you select a hat, you can press apply here. I'm going to be changing those to have color pickers, to have a bunch of different extra buttons here. Like all of this stuff adds a ton of complexity and versatility and depth to the editor. But at any one moment, like look at this screen right now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 interaction points. Now that's still honestly kind of high because but if you actually because there are duplicates, but if you break it down to interaction areas, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is something people can comprehend. And a lot of these, I literally used like Google design standards so that the literal design philosophy that I use here is the same that they use on your Android phone. Like I put so much effort into making this usable and give you depth. And I really am happy with how it's paying off. I really think that like we're gonna have something that's not only good, but quick to learn. Like, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna change this from outfit to clothing. Add hair, eye color. Hmm. But yeah, the what add a cobblestone generator? Is that a Minecraft reference? Um, let's see. I do not know Everywhere Man, but I've heard he's everywhere. So that's on me. So data.category. One thing that I feel like is not helping my case here is that right now I'm using fit to screen rather than actual resolution. I feel like the UI looks so much better when it's actual resolution. Um, so yeah, like you like just that the icons look so much crisper, because they're not trying to squeeze everything together. It just looks nice. Will there be a free cam toggle? Um, Definitely in creative mode, most likely. Um, like in the free servers. In the main game, I definitely want to make sure that you know, here's how it's going to work. In the custom servers, I'm gonna allow you all to do whatever you want. Essentially, it will be like a creative mode. I'll probably start calling it that, honestly, creative mode, but host it as custom servers. Um, but the core gameplay, like I'm actually going to try to make a game. Like, you know how I did kind of a bad job with the quest system in Superhero Life 2 and 3 to an extent, a big extent. Um, yeah, and I think I've grown a lot as a developer, and I can now possibly make a compelling gameplay experience. I can add fun things for y'all to do as a superhero. And so I am going to be taking that and doing that in the main game. The combat mode will essentially start having things like events, like there will be like disasters that hit the city. You know, you're gonna have little quest pipe like all piped together. Like it's yeah. Well, the bounty quest is fine. The with how minimal the quests were in Superhero Life 2, they did a decent job. But you know, you can only like, let's be honest. How many hours a day could you spend doing a bounty quest? You know, what makes that fun is the other players. Um, so yeah, I'm going to be taking a lot more of a hands-on role as a developer with the main game, but I'm going to make sure that I keep supporting the custom servers and the and like so that people who don't want to sort of have a more structured experience, just want to do sort of open-ended role play stuff, still have that. So yeah, we're getting the best of both worlds, and I'm excited, and I'm also hungry. It is lunchtime and I'm going to go have that. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I will stop by either tomorrow or the day after with another stream. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some other cool stuff to show. All right. Nice talking to y'all. Peace.